Welcome to a Legendarium special about Adam the Leper, a medieval outlaw who robbed the king. The 14th century became a boom time for outlaws in medieval England. First the Great Famine, and then a long war with France created much upheaval across the kingdom, and most of this upheaval came from the aristocracy, since younger sons would not inherit anything from their fathers. But if they had enough younger brothers, second sons like Eustace Falville and James Cotterell might form highborn outlaw gangs. Yet we do not know if this is the story for the subject of today's video. Adam the Leper and his gang became some of the most desperate and daring of the 14th century gangs who made life exciting and short in medieval England. No one seems to have cared enough about Adam the Leper to write anything about him until he began lightening the purses of the powerful. We only know he likely came from southeastern England, near London, and came into the world sometime during the early 1300s. It is unknown for certain if he truly suffered from leprosy. Plainly, he remained a strong man and had a magnetic personality that allowed him to bend hardened felons to his will. It is possible men simply called him a leper to show their hatred and disgust for him and his deeds. Regardless, Adam joined a gang operating in southeast England sometime during the late 1330s. With law and order badly stressed, Adam's gang did not even bother hiding in the forest to waylay passers-by. Instead, they waited for towns to have trade fairs, which brought in peasants from across the countryside to trade. And with the peasants at the fair, Adam the Leper and his gang invaded and plundered their unguarded homes, often setting them on fire afterwards in an act of rank malice. And upon their return, the householders grew too busy trying to save what little remained to bother chasing Adam and his men. Much like Robin Hood, Adam the Leper and his men preyed upon the rich, but to line their own pockets, not to give to the poor. And while Robin Hood might treat a prisoner kindly during his unwanted forest holiday, Adam the Leper and his men threatened them with death or worse if their families did not pay up. Should the ransom come late, or the prisoners annoy their captors somehow, they might send them home with a missing eye, ear, nose, or even limb. In time, Adam the Leper and his men grew so bold that they invaded the city of Bristol during the year 1347, the same year the Black Death came to southern Europe. While in the third largest city in England, Adam robbed several ships in the harbor that belonged to King Edward III. He then declared himself the robber king of Bristol, and his men freely seized ships while Adam issued proclamations demanding that the people turn their worldly goods over to him. However, Adam's greatest triumph came in London. There, Adam the Leper and his gang somehow learned about a jeweler who held some fine pieces belonging to Queen Philippa of Hainault. Adam's men learned the location of the jeweler's house and slipped there under cover of night. They then barricaded the jeweler's house with horse carts, boxes, and anything else they could find. Having trapped the jeweler in his house, Adam shouted from the street that he must hand over the jewels if he wanted to get out of his house alive. When the jeweler refused, the robbers set the building on fire, forcing the jeweler and his family to flee. They then invaded the burning house and stole their prizes before they would be destroyed by fire. However, Edward III did not take kindly to Adam the Leper robbing his queen, to the surprise of none. He sent Thomas, Lord Berkeley, after the gang. In time, Lord Berkeley caught Adam after a long and hard battle and brought him to the court in Winchester. There, Adam's men staked out the courtroom, beating and bludgeoning anyone who came out. They caused such an uproar that the authorities had no choice but to allow the outlaw king to go free and continue his chosen career. While this might sound shocking, it is important to remember that other outlaws of this dangerous time escaped justice using similar means. Eustace Falville and James Cotterell both escaped justice simply because the authorities feared them too much to prosecute them. In any case, after his 1347 escape, Adam seems to disappear from the historical record, and we can only guess what happened. Did he suffer injuries while a prisoner and die soon after his release? Did he keep practicing his chosen profession under a new name? This is a real possibility, for if he avoided robbing any more royals, then the chroniclers would not pay much attention to him. That wraps things up for this episode of The Legendarium. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.